Hey, I'm Kimi, and I'm presenting Designing for Harm Reduction, Communication Repair for Multicultural Users' Voice Interactions. This is work done with my doctoral advisor, Geoff Kaufman, in the eHeart Lab at Carnegie Mellon University's Human-Computer Interaction Institute. So, to lay the groundwork, 1. Misunderstandings can be experienced as microaggressions. This is true in interpersonal contexts among people, as well as technical contexts with technology. And this is something we demonstrated quantitatively in a controlled experiment in our CHI 2023 paper from last year, Can Voice Assistants Be Microaggressors? And hopefully, obviously, we don't want racist microaggressions embedded in any of our technologies. So to that end, a lot of people are working to reduce misunderstandings in voice assistants. But unfortunately, reducing these misunderstandings is actually quite difficult. So, a lot of people are working on creating more diverse or representative voice data sets or improving the models that are powering these voice assistants. And that's really important work that must get done, but it's going to be a while before we actually achieve those desired results. And in the meantime, people are getting harmed every day. People are experiencing these racist microaggressions, which, if we look to literature from social and clinical psychology, we know that those interactions can add up and lead to serious mental and physical health conditions. So is there something more lightweight, more design-focused that we can do to help mitigate these harms? How might we design a harm-reducing voice interaction? And we focused on a few different core areas in our methodology and in our research. So one is conceptualizations. We wanted to understand how do multilingual users, multicultural users, conceptualize their voice assistant. This is very important because once we know how they conceptualize their voice assistant, then we can more readily create these dialogues. If we don't know how they're thinking about their voice assistant, it's a lot harder to do that. So we had them draw out pictures, we had them write letters to their voice assistant, and we also interviewed them, and that led to some really interesting insights. And then the second tier that we were looking at was harms. We can't create any harm-reducing messages if we don't even know what the harms are, right? So we scaffolded out 6 different harms that can result from a misunderstanding specifically. So there are lots of harms that occur from voice assistants. Privacy and surveillance is a really big one that a lot of people are concerned about. But we wanted to show that even a small misunderstanding, even just Siri saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't understand that," could lead to so many different downstream harms. And we really wanted to emphasize that in the paper, and we hope you check that part out. And then lastly, we finally get to the harm repair. We focus on what types of error messages might minimize the harms that multicultural users experience, or that all users may experience. And we focused on blame redirection and identity affirmations. Both of these ideas are backed from literature from social psychology and clinical psychology, as well as the workshops that we ran with our participants. And, these ideas are pretty much what they sound like, but there is some nuance to them, especially for the affirmations, so we suggest you read more about that in the paper as well. And importantly, I think these techniques show a lot of promise for being applied to other areas. So this includes facial recognition, which has a deep history and a deep problem with racism and sexism, etc. We might be able to design harm-reducing error messages for that. We could design harm-reducing messages for generative AI, which creates very stereotypical or harmful content there as well. And if you find any of this interesting, I suggest you read the precursors to this paper, which is our Can Voice Assistants Be Microaggressors paper and our Challenges in Designing Racially Inclusive Language Technologies. Feel free to reach out to me, contact me, or find me at CHI. I would love to chat about this and hear more about your work as well.